Okay, I am going to do a special reading today. I've been taking some time out to find the balance between, I guess you could say, talking to spirit, but also at the same time dealing with everybody that's on this earth. But this reading is for Bob Nesta Marley. He is an influential character on the world. I mean, even just in my own personal life. I always considered him to be a father figure, and even when I was speaking to him and talking to him, he would often say, I am the father to the fatherless youth. Like, I'm the father to the fatherless youth, the ones that don't have active fathers in their lives. Like, so when I was a kid, I always grew up, listening to Bob. Like, Bob would always play, like, over the weekend on Sundays, when my mom would like cook, clean, like do all those things. And it's like I don't know, I just always loved his message simply because of the fact that he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't just like regular reggae, like sure that there was that, but there was a political and spiritual influence behind his message and who he was as a person. Um, and even speaking to him now, he's still the image that I still see of him is like he still looks like the same man, but his hair is just like a little bit more whiter. But it's like best way to describe it is like salt pepper color kind of dreads. And I asked him like a couple of questions like how does he feel about today's society? How does he feel about the influences of the music of what's happening today? Um, and he did a pretty good job at explaining to me like the people, like the kids, they have to get back to their roots. They're losing the actual essence of what real music is, of what the real deep soul root of what music is, and trying to find the balance between bringing in a new style, like that's good, but they cannot lose the spirit of music. They're losing the spirit of music by listening to unnatural sounds. They need natural rhythm. It's something that he would constantly like describe or show to me. Um, I wanted to touch on something. Bob was born February 6th, 1945. Let me double check. I know I wrote this down. Yes, 1945. So he is a 27. He is a 9. But the combination of 2 and 7 creates cooperation and spirituality. 7 is the spiritual part. 2 is the cooperation, coming together in unity, creating relationship. Um, and when you combine those two together, it creates humanitarianism, which is 9. And that's what he was all about, trying to create diplomacy, trying to create a specific aspect of trying to find how to motivate people from a political aspect, but to move the spirit. And I mean, it's something that Aquariuses already naturally have in them, but for him, regardless of how his life turned out or how his relationships were, that was his first relationship. His first relationship was with God and how to motivate and move the people through sound. There's a couple of things that he wanted me to touch base on, like really quick, because he keeps talking about getting justice for him. Okay, and I don't know specifically like intricate details about what has happened pertaining to his death, um, but he knew that within his death that he wasn't going to. I know, like beforehand, he prophesied that he wouldn't be around for quite some time. I believe he died at the age of 36. Very powerful number. I'm a 36. He's a 9. It's very powerful. Even talking about the day of his death, I'm going to get into that too because it's very significant. But he puts so much emphasis like on being able to move his body, like exhuming his body, moving it even he's like, I don't care, move me back down a yard, like take him back to Jamaica or take him to Ethiopia. Like he puts a lot of emphasis on being able to move, and also he keeps putting out that yes, there are certain people that admitted to taking part in his death and also handling certain things, but he finds it to be disrespectful to be buried in this country when this country was responsible for his demise. He's very adamant about that, just being able to find closure and peace, and being able to find that peace within himself, because he knows that he put a lot of I guess you can say challenging or thought-provoking energy out into challenging this system here in America, and it makes people very uncomfortable. But he says, I'm nobody's prize. I'm not this country's prize. I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming probably because he feels that within his body deserves to be honored in a different way. Also, when it comes down to talking about his passing, for some reason he keeps showing me that there's still certain men that are still active in the government or formerly active in the government that need to be brought to justice in pertaining to his passing as well. Yes, there's been someone that passed over, but that's not it. There's more behind that, and he wants something to be done about that. And I asked him about his death. He told me that he was very heartbroken over the situation. But at the same time, he understood that his purpose was much bigger, to bring a stronger awareness or to bring a bit more focus so that way people can understand the, I guess, the heaviness of how much hate, how much, control they try to put on love, that they try to put on the creative energy. And he said that there's still going to be more men, more soldiers that are going to come behind me, that have come behind me, to continue to push the message forward. Funny enough, going back to when he died May 11th, 1981, and that is a 26. And I put a lot of emphasis on that number because it's kind of interesting. If you think about it, like I do a lot of videos on Ja, and Ja's been like a super great support, like as far as like bringing other spirits or other entities to me. The day that Ja died was June 18th, 2018, right? That's also 26. Those two numbers put a lot of emphasis on. 2 is, again, cooperation, relationships, but 6 puts a lot of emphasis on family. And the combination of those two together is about bringing balance or bringing some sort of foundation into this space of awareness. And I don't know, I just like to notice different correlations. You know what I mean? Like, they're both Aquariuses, Ja's a 6, Bob is a 9. But just it's the essence of their spirit, like, especially towards the end of Ja's life. Like, he's always been, a fiery spirit. And I think that Bob was still the same way, but he did his best to just express it in a more positive way, or a more, uplifting way when he was, younger, still finding his groove. Ja was very direct, when coming into the industry, but kind of mellowed out or tried to find this space of peace and try to find this space of calmness. And so I do see them very much together. He's like always like taking him under his wing, like, I'm going to school you. Like, there's some things I have to school you about, in this realm, because I have more time to learn. And so I think it's a beautiful experience. But again, if this gets anywhere, I hope that, someone can truly find the space within them, to get him to where he wants to rest. Yes, he rests, but he wants, like, in his spirit, he wants to be away. Like he wants to be, like I said, down in Jamaica or in Africa, period. Like he's putting like he puts so much like emphasis on that, and it's like it needs to be done. You know what I mean? And he's like he funny enough, like he's very much still, very father figure, like, for the world for that matter, like always constantly in a space of, all them youth constantly have all them, equipment around them and all electricity and all them things that like when am I go outside and when am I gonna listen to some real sound and get some real light and like he's very, very direct, like, and I love that. I love that. Um, Loves his family. He keeps putting a lot of emphasis. I tried to ask like certain things like pertaining to, his love life or his family, and he kept putting a lot of emphasis on Rita and saying that woman. I put that woman through so much, but she's my seven. And when I hear she's my seven, because she's a 34, so she's a seven. He's a 27. She's a seven in my 27. Like she's a spiritual part of me. She was the emphasis of being more than just a wife. She was my mother. She was the essence of everything that I was, missing in certain things. She challenged me, to be a better person. There was more than just, this love affair. You know what I mean? It was something that was much deeper and much bigger. And he said he'll never ever let her go. And it's a very touching situation because he knows that it wasn't super easy for her to deal with everything, with him running around and everything, but she stood by him. He stood by her. It wasn't the most perfect love, but it was their love. He loves, I'm sorry, I feel choked up in my heart, so I'm assuming like that's something that he really felt. Um, in saying that he is going to see her, like even, from the day that she crosses over, and he's trying to make sure that she lives as long, 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 long as possible because she misses him like crazy. But he's always like, I'm gonna be there. I'm always gonna be there. I'm always with you. And I feel like that's just a strong love. He's like, that's like my best friend. That's my best friend. Like I would be a sibling to her. I'd be a lover to her all over, or whatever she would want me to be. I'd be that for her. And there's just a very deep soul connection there that no one will ever break, no matter who comes around, what happens. That's just what it's gonna be. So again, I hope that there's some sort of form of justice in providing him a level of deeper peace and knowing that he can basically move on from this situation and not feel defeated by the government or by people that are saying, oh well, that can't happen. No, everything can happen. He's very determined in letting that be known, and I'm glad that I'm able to kind of channel this energy while this new moon in Aquarius is happening, because I don't know, I just feel very blessed. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and then I will see if I can try to pull up some more energy and provide some more. So this is what is it, February 5th? So tomorrow will be Bob's birthday. So hopefully this will honor the ancestors and honor Bob and continue to give him all your love, all your respect. All right? Peace.